Good morning, everybody. This is Tyler's Talking Sports. If this is your first time tuning in, we're so glad to have you here. My name is Tyler Hess. On the other side of the mic, my brother from another mother, Tyler Castle. You'll meet him in a few minutes, and I think you'll like him. If this is your first time tuning in, you got to know what you're listening to. Here at Tyler's Talking Sports, we cover college football, we cover college basketball, we cover college baseball. You name it in the college world, we're talking about it. From breaking news to big games to new coaching hires to kids entering the transfer portal, we cover it all. So, if you love what you're listening to and you love this episode, be sure to find us on all major podcasting platforms. Find us on social media. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Be sure to give us a follow and a like there. We're also on YouTube and TikTok, but on YouTube, be sure to give us a subscribe, because when you do, that allows you to get exclusive content that nobody else gets that's not subscribed to us. When you subscribe to us on YouTube, you get exclusive access to our 10-minute episodes that we drop weekly throughout the week. Plus, our 2 episodes we drop every Monday and Thursday at 6 a.m. You're not going to want to miss any of the content we have, and we appreciate you guys being here, and we hope you enjoy the episode.
This episode is brought to you by Next Level Fitness Club in Lebanon, Virginia. 1806 East Main Street, Lebanon, Virginia, 24266. They are a 24/7 gym facility, 24/7 tanning. They also offer certified personal training and certified functional fitness classes to fit all needs. If you're in the market for a gym membership, this is a great place to hit up. Hit up Ethan, Tyler, or Jordan at any of their numbers, and check out their website at www.nextlevelfitnessclub276.com.
This episode is brought to you by Little's Lawn Care. Little's Lawn Care is the all-you-need lawn care people. You need your yard mowed, you need your leaves blowed out of your yard, you need your gutters cleaned out, contact Little's Lawn Care at 276-698-5104. Again, that number is 276-698-5104. You can text them and you can call him. His name is Brandon Little. He's an incredible person, and be sure you let him know that Tyler sent you.
And we're live! Season 2, episode 34, new year, new TTS. Welcome to Tyler's Talking Sports. Good morning.
I didn't know he was new. I'm gone then.
New TTS.
Oh, bye.
New year, new TTS. Good morning, good night, happy evening, whatever it is. If you're here for the first time at Tyler's Talking Sports, we sure do appreciate having you. On the other side of the mic, my brother from another mother, Tyler Hess, and myself, Tyler Castle, bringing you Tyler's Talking Sports. Good morning, people. Good morning. Good morning to you, Hess.
Good morning, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Did you have a great weekend?
Buddy, I had a great weekend. Got a little bit of snow. I love the snow. Got out in it a little bit. Had a good time in it. Just sat back, though. Had a real lazy type of basketball field Saturday. Did a couple things around the house Sunday. Just kind of took it easy. Went to church. Did the normal family stuff. And kicked back, watched my Broncos clinch playoff berth. And
woo!
Yeah, boy.
Go Broncos. I see you repping them there on the screen.
Yeah, boy. First time since 2016, baby.
First time since 2016. Peyton
Bo knows. Bo knows.
Bo knows what's up. In case y'all didn't know, I always got to repeat this so the listeners know. Hess bagged on Bo. And I always told Hess, I was like, he'll do good in the NFL. Hess wasn't having it. I said, wouldn't it be funny if he goes to your team? Wow. Hey. Look what happened.
Hey, I'll say this.
He's great, and I love it.
As a Georgia fan, I can't like anything that ever comes out of Auburn. Can't like anything.
He went to Oregon after that. You could like him because, Dan Lannon.
Hey, what Bo did, there is times I admitted Bo was doing good. He balled out a couple times, and I knew though with Sean Payton in Denver and his size as a miniature looking Drew Brees out there is what that was, and I knew that was the guy that Payton was wanting. It's worked out. He
can scramble, he can throw, he can read the defense.
Yeah,
excellent quarterback. Honestly, I'll put him up in almost the rookie race.
I would give it to Jaden Daniels.
Playoff berth, yeah.
I give it to Daniels. The Commanders made the playoffs too, so.
But I think it's better. I'll give him that.
But I will say I don't think many people thought Bo was going to be what he was this year. Potentially, yeah, but it's been great. If the Denver just had a run game, which has been very disappointing, it would probably be a little bit better record. We'll see. Playoffs going to be interesting. See how it plays out.
I'm excited. This is the best time of NFL football where I actually sit down and watch the games is playoff NFL.
Man. Yep.
But yeah, man, I had a good weekend. Got a new bed.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Put up a king mattress. Got tons of room now. So last Saturday night,
You went from a fool to a king? Is that what
we
it
went
was?
from a queen to a king.
Oh, just kidding. I knew
But
that.
it is a big. I mean, even from a queen to a king is.
Oh, yeah, man.
It's
It's that middle
tremendous.
space, man. It's like if you lay down where you lay down on
Yeah,
your
my
queen.
wife and I lay down, and I forgot she was in the bed.
Ain't it great?
That's how far over she was. I looked at her like, golly,
it's great.
all this space for activities.
Yes.
I mean, Hudson can put Woody and Buzz in the bed.
Whoa! Oh,
Toy Story.
Yeah.
He's got all of his toys. He's got Lightning McQueen. He throws them all in there. So we sleep with all them. Gotta have them.
Yeah, gotta have it, man. I mean,
Kids
that's
gotta have
us.
their
We got
toys.
Paw Patrol and everything else comes in our bed. So.
Yep. Love it. But plenty of room. Got new tires this weekend.
New tires?
I just felt like a kid, like going crazy. Got a new bed. Got new
I gotta
tires.
tell you this. Blakely last night, she's been putting herself to sleep. She's like, I'm a big girl. I'm getting ready to go to kindergarten. I'm putting myself to sleep.
Okay.
So we've been letting her. Well, she's been putting herself to sleep, but she's still been getting up and getting in bed with us. Well, last night she gets up, runs in our bedroom, like really fast, faster than normal. Gets in bed, looks at Krista and says, Mommy, I got something for you. And she let the longest fart I've ever heard right on Krista and then went right to sleep.
My girl, Blakely. My girl, Blakely. That's hilarious, Blake. Good job. Way to go.
Oh, I had a random nosebleed while I was sleeping Sunday night.
Oh, God.
Or Saturday night, yeah.
That's kind of concerning.
I was sitting there, I was like, well, my sinus has been kind of, I thought it was dried, it was running, but all of a sudden I was like, oh, crap. I looked at Chris and said, my nose is bleeding. She's like, no. And then it was like puddling in my hand. Just one nostril, though.
Okay.
We survived.
All right. He's still here, guys.
Yeah, we did a blood transfusion with the horse. It's the closest thing I could find. We're good.
Have like a brain aneurysm or something. Golly.
Ah.
Have that stuff, man. Come on, man. But yeah, got new tires, man. The reason I'm going on about these new tires.
Yeah.
If y'all haven't looked outside, we got a lot of snow. And if you're driving to work this morning, listeners, be careful. Calling for some black ice, snow, you name it. Make sure you got them tires. Get them good tires on. I finally took that advice, from tires. Am I still here?
How technical difficulties, man. I really don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I heard a little disconnect. It's the snow. It's all the snow we're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all got them good tires.
Yeah.
For the snow. Saw a lot of people broke down on the side of the road.
A lot of people broke down. A lot of people I seen on the way home from church.
I didn't see it personally, but I saw it on Facebook.
There was a Mercedes up against the guardrail coming up John Douglas. There was a Challenger sideways.
It's
there was
a little
all kinds of stuff. And they're all calling for snow periodically throughout the day, Monday. So, guys, if you make it to work, you might have some tough travel getting home because it is supposed to get colder as the day goes on. So, be safe, be prepared. Be prepared, mate. Take an extra jacket and a bottle of water.
If you're ready, you never have to get ready.
Be ready.
Guys, we're 18 followers off 1.3K on Facebook. Y'all are crushing it.
Yeah.
We're getting so close to that milestone. We want to hit that this month. I think we can do it with your all's help. So make sure if you haven't already, invite your friends, invite everyone, invite your cousins, whatever it is. Make sure they come over and give TTS a like and follow. Helps out more than you know. Also, speaking of newer content for the new year on TTS, we are bringing you all some short form content, 10-minute videos on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. These videos will be primarily one question. Our last one was, is Ohio State overhyped?
Yeah.
Hess and I dive into that for 10 minutes. Make sure y'all tune into that. That video is doing really well on Facebook. I think 5K views, somewhere around there.
5.1 last I looked.
5.1. Let's go, baby. Y'all are crushing it.
Also, one thing, guys, I need to announce: Castle has moved his mic, and I need to reiterate to him he doesn't have to get as close to it because when he gets close, it muffles him down. So where you're at's perfect.
But I really like it.
Yeah, when you get like that, it's like you're getting ready to I don't know.
Baby.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Come on, man. I like it right there.
Oh,
I think it looks good. Y'all let me know. I think it sounds better. I had a little bit of echo.
As we speak, we're blowing up on TikTok. Got 3 comments just now and 4 likes on the is Ohio State overhyped.
Let's go. Let's go, baby. Hess and I got called clowns. That's one other thing I wanted to bring up. So
love it.
We're in the clown business now, in the circus, in case y'all wonder. Ohio State fans there's something about Ohio State and Michigan fans. They don't hold back.
They're proud, man.
They mean business.
Hey, I like it. They stick up for their team. Go for it.
They really do. They really do. It really hurt my feelings. I couldn't go sleep another night because I read that.
We literally had a Michigan fan that commented on our Michigan video from last year. He commented. I look back. He was one of the first people to comment a year ago. He came back and commented yesterday to say, "Yeah, this aged well."
Hey, here's the thing. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah,
I'm glad he remembered us.
Yeah.
That's the key. Y'all take the effort out. I don't care if it's good or bad to comment on our page. We love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Y'all just keep doing it. Keep doing it.
It's like
And
it's like one of my, I guess, sports, you could say, idols always said. It was Dale Earnhardt. They asked him, do you get affected by the boos? He said, I don't care if they're booing or cheering. It's if they're silent is when I have to worry. If they're booing, I'm doing something right. If they're cheering, I'm doing something right. So
absolutely.
They're paying attention.
They're paying attention. That's the main thing. That's all we want, guys. But yeah, y'all keep crushing it. TTS to the moon.
To the moon, baby.
To the moon. Man, we had some great football games this weekend.
We did.
Or into last week, rather, into this weekend. So got a recap of some football bowl games. Thursday, we had 2 games. We had Georgia versus Notre Dame.
Yes, sir.
Now, this didn't pan out too well for our boy Hess. It was a rough evening for him. I took it easy on him. I could tell he's getting a little flustered.
A
little flustered with his team, which rightfully so. I mean, I get it happens. Yeah. Notre Dame came into this one. They was ready to play. Mark Freeman had that team ready to play. A couple things didn't go Georgia's way early. The biggest thing, obviously, was a controversial call from the ref with the player that stepped out and he ran into him on the sidelines.
Well, look back at that.
That was a 15-yard penalty right there.
There's another angle of that. The kid actually had one toe on the white line. The ref was actually over farther than what he was supposed to be.
He hit him like on the side.
Yeah, like he literally was where he
ref
hit
got
him.
Money on this game?
I mean, he seemed pretty aggravated about it. But to me, that really did. I mean, it hurt that drive, but it was the NTN fumble inside the 10 at that part that really killed us, and then the fumble at the end of the half. But I mean, with the circumstances that we found out yesterday with Kirby Smart's father fighting for his life during that game, he ended up passing away. So our thoughts and prayers out to Kirby and that entire family. Hats off to Kirby for coaching through that and rallying that team. Apparently, the players didn't even know that was going on. I was seeing some stuff on Twitter. They found out when we found out, and they were, shout out to him for just being strong and hiding those emotions and leading the team. I mean, Georgia played well. I mean, they struggled all year. We talked about it most of the year. They outgained Notre Dame. I mean, Riley Leonard finished with 90 yards passing. He did rush pretty well for him, but I mean, Stockton played great.
He was accurate with that game. I mean, he didn't make any dumb decisions. He was smart with the football. He did.
I mean, Georgia gave him the middle of the field, but they weren't going to give him nothing deep. And that was the game plan coming in. You stop him there, then I mean, Georgia does have those turnovers. You're looking at a different ball game. But Stockton, I mean, he played great. I thought for a guy that made his first career start and that big of a moment, and we've talked about that. These playoffs have been a lot different on the mental state of things. He played well. He had some good throws. When he made a bad throw, it was almost like a good throw because he wasn't forcing it. He would rather throw it 50 feet out of bounds than force the ball. The run game, NTN, he struggled. I mean, it's been all year, 11 carries, 36 yards, and then you had Frazier, who I think is going to be a monster next year.
Frazier will be a monster.
He had 4 carries to 38. Receivers dropping passes. That killed Georgia. Yep. I mean, Stockton hit Drake Bell on that one deep pass and right in his hands.
Right in his hands, dude. Bounced off.
Yeah, that would have been a game changer. But, I mean.
That was listed on X as one of the worst possible miscatches in the season.
Yeah, I mean, it was
in the season.
It hurt. I mean, it hurt real bad, but the defense did what they had to do. Offensive line held up pretty well. Georgia's mistakes where they happened were just too much to overcome, and Notre Dame didn't make mistakes. I mean, that's the thing. I don't think Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame had a turnover. They may have had one. I don't remember.
Not many penalties in this game either.
It was a very good football game.
There was one crucial penalty there at the end. I wanted to talk to you about this, about the 11 on, 11 off that Notre Dame did. So Notre Dame lined up. They were going to punt.
Yeah.
It was 4th and 1 on the 28, somewhere on that, on Notre Dame's 28. So
with about 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, with about 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Georgia had already burned all their timeouts.
No, they had 2.
They had 2 timeouts at that time? Okay. Anyway, so they take all 11 players on the field. Notre Dame does. Sends them off, brings 11 in new. Looks like they're going to run offensive play. At that time, Kirby's like, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's illegal. Mm-hmm. They rush in 11 more on defense. So because everybody can substitute. So if offense substitutes, defense can substitute. So they sub in 11 in, 11 out. Then Georgia jumps off sides. Mm-hmm. Gives Notre Dame the first down. Do you think that was a crucial moment in that game, or was the game already over?
No, I think Georgia gets the ball back there. I mean, they punt it. You're probably going to get it on your 40, 35-ish yard line, depending on the punt. I mean, Georgia goes down and scores. I mean, you're probably looking at around 2 minutes left in the game, depending on how the timeouts go.
With a
But
chance.
the big thing with that, Kirby was right in the fact that you cannot sub 11 off. But what he didn't pay attention to was the ball was never considered. The play was never considered started because the long snapper never touched the ball. If the long snapper had touched the football, he could not leave. If he would have got up off the field, that would have been a legal substitution. So that's what Kirby didn't catch. He thought the long snapper had set over it, touched the ball, and at that point you can't. You can sub 10, but you can't sub 11. The only thing I would have done there, which I commend Kirby and the defense coordinator for rush. I mean, having the defense ready because I mean they got out there, they were lined up, ready to go.
Yeah, they were ready.
The only thing I would have changed is I seen Tennessee do this once, and I think I seen Alabama do it earlier in the year. Walk your guys out there because once that team subs, if you sub one,
yeah, you can take your time. It happens to Tennessee all the time.
You can take that last guy and just walk him on the field, and then that's a delay game on the offense because they initiate the substitution. It's not a delay game. I think that rule needs to be changed though. I think once the subs happen,
it should be on defense. Yeah,
but I commend Kirby for saying, "Hey, get out there and play ball." But Marcus Freeman, all he was trying to do was get Kirby to burn that second time out so they'd have one left. He was punting the ball; they wasn't going for it.
Yeah,
and then Williams jumps, but it is what it is. It happens. I mean,
it's just something odd that, like, watching from my outsider, I'm sure a lot of our listeners think this too. I mean, that's not something Georgia normally we see from Georgia. Georgia's a very disciplined team. So when I was watching that and they jumped, I was like, oh my God, what is this?
That was a weird time for them.
I don't know. They just kind of looked lost.
I think it was just the fact of, I think that play in particular, Notre Dame runs the offense out there. They're like, oh, we got Georgia, we got them. And the defense like, oh, no, you don't. And they came out with had a little bit more oomph in their step. They were more hyped up for that play. It got the best of them. But, I mean, grand scheme of things, did that probably hurt? Yeah. I mean, but I don't know if Georgia still would have won that game. I mean, Notre Dame was still, they were just getting enough. Like,
2 scores still.
Literally, Notre Dame was just getting enough every drive because they only crossed the 50 2 times in that game. They scored 2 defense. They scored the pick six or the fumble recovery at the end of half and a kickoff return. You take those 2 away.
Yeah, kickoff return. My gosh.
You take those 2 things away. I mean, Georgia wins this ball game. So Georgia's defense did what they had to do. The offense, I believe, did what they had to do. I know Kirby said that Stockton didn't do enough, but I mean,
I put that game on Stockton.
No, I don't put it. I put it on receivers.
He didn't give you any turnovers.
Mm-mm. I mean, he did have the strips. He fumbled the sack on the strip sack.
Sure, but that was from behind, right?
Yeah, he got hit from behind. I mean,
you can't help that.
A veteran quarterback may sense that a little bit better, but it is what it is.
I don't think that's his fault. That's on your offensive line.
You take that fumble away.
Do a hold or something there. Try something.
You take that fumble away and you take away that kickoff. Or you just take away one or the other. Take the fumble or the kickoff return away.
Take the kickoff return away because that was right after half.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a 99-yard house call. So, yeah, you don't have that happen. I think Georgia wins this game.
I mean, yeah, those 2 plays in particular are the ones that I circle. I don't like the play call at the end of half. I don't like the fact that we had their quarterback rolling out to try to make a pass. At that point, just hand it off and let's go to half.
That was another thing, too. There was 52 seconds when they did that? I mean, so you could have just, you wouldn't have gave them another 7.
I mean, you're inside the 20. I mean, the likelihood of getting down through there is slim. But, I mean, hey, you're probably playing for a field goal. I mean, that's probably what Mike Bobo and Kirby are playing for. They're playing for at least getting field goal range. I get that. But
it came back and bit them.
Hats off to Notre Dame. Hats off to Marcus Freeman for doing what Brian Kelly couldn't do. Brian Kelly never could beat an SEC school.
That was the 4th time, right? 4th time Georgia's faced Notre Dame in a bowl game or something like that.
First time they've ever played. 4th time they played in general. It's the first time
in general.
That's the
first time Notre Dame's ever beat them.
That's the 2nd time they've played in. They played in the national championship in '86, and then they played that game right there was the 2nd time they played. That wasn't a regular season game, but prior to that, it was 3 years ago. We did the home and home with them. We played them at Notre Dame, and then they played us in Athens, and we haven't played them since. So I mean, we don't play them much, but hats off to Marcus Freeman. I mean, they did just enough. They're going to have their hands full, I think, against Penn State. We'll see. Riley Leonard's going to have to get the passing game going a little bit more.
Yeah,
the run games where they need
yards.
Yeah, their run games where it needs to be. Defense is good. Get them guys a little bit healthy. Defense is going to keep them in games, but they got to get that pass game going a little bit.
And guys, we'll cover the Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State Thursday morning. Yes. Who's Ohio State play again?
Texas.
Mine's going blank. Texas. That's right. Texas. I forgot about that Big 12 SEC school.
Yeah. The Big 12 school had too much money to stay in the Big 12.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot about them.
Yeah.
So, final score on this one was 23-10. Notre Dame, they will advance. Hess, what is your thoughts on Georgia moving into the off season and preparing for 2025 season?
I mean, before this game, or before, let's say, the SEC title, I was like, man, quarterback's the thing. We got to go get a quarterback. And they did have one.
Speaking of that, not meaning to cut you off, but the quarterback, y'all just had a quarterback transfer.
Yeah, he's a 4-star. It's his third time. It's his third time he's transferred. We were his third different school. This guy's just going for money.
Just bouncing around. All right.
Yeah, so, I mean, he was talented, but he wasn't But I don't think quarterback's an issue now. I think Stockton will be the 4-star that he was when we got him 2 years ago. I mean, I think he'll be fine.
Do you see Georgia not hitting the portal for quarterback?
No, I don't think.
You don't think there's anybody out there that they would swing at?
I mean, you might go get you a backup or something, but I really think what Georgia needs to focus on is receivers that can catch a football. They have a running back, and they got Frazier coming back. They got Delp coming back. They got Austin Lucky coming back at tight end.
Offensive line will be good too.
Offensive line, I mean, they're losing Ratledge and losing, I think, maybe one more on offensive line.
Tate made some mistakes these bowl games.
Yeah, but I mean he played hurt. He had that ankle. He's had an ankle out injury since the Texas game, but he's a leader. Defensively, we're only losing probably 2 players on defense. So
returning 9.
And you're returning Bolden, who's a All-American freshman. He was the second freshman. He was one of 2 freshmen on the All-American team this year. First team All-American, first team All-SEC at safety. So defense is going to be fine. I would like, perfect world, if I'm a Georgia fan, I think it's time to move on from Mike Bobo. Since we lost Todd Monken to the Ravens, our offense has been kind of stagnant for the most part. It hasn't been what it was in 2021 when we won the national title, when we're putting up 40 and 50 a game.
Right.
I would like to see a more revolutionized offensive game plan. Not get away from what makes Georgia good as far as a run game, but let's get some more down the field kind of stuff. And I don't think Mike Bobo's that guy. I mean, he's a Georgia alum. He was a former quarterback, great guy, but I just think it's time to find a different offensive coordinator. And there is talks, that they've added Mark Richt back to the coaching staff as an offensive analyst. That's great. I hope Muschamp comes back as a defensive coach. I hope everything else stays intact. I think Georgia will be good next year. But on the other side of that, at the beginning of the year, I would have said Georgia's not going to the national championship and may not lose a game. So, I mean, we'll see. But right now, I think Georgia will be okay. Just get some receivers, get some defensive players, get some depth.
Georgia lose a game next year?
Yeah. I mean, I think at the state of college football as a whole,
it's almost impossible.
It's going to be very rare. I think what Oregon did this year, I would almost go out on a limb and say what Oregon did this year, going 13-0.
For a while.
You might not see that for a very long time because, I mean, it's getting there. I think I hated the comment. I can't remember who it was that said on ESPN. Now that these other teams can legally pay players.
Oh, yeah. Like, unlike Bama and Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Georgia was doing anything wrong. I'm not saying Saban was doing anything wrong because, I mean, Saban stood on that business during the game.
I've seen a lot of that here lately. Everybody's just mad now because Bama and Georgia can't pay their players, what they're saying.
But, I mean,
I don't agree with that. I'm sure all these teams were doing what they could.
I mean, everybody's doing what they got to do to win and do what you got to do. I mean, there's stuff going under the rug all the time. I mean, look at Reggie Bush.
Here's my thing. If you don't see it firsthand.
Yeah. But I just think there's so much parity now with this NIL. And the transfer portal, I think, just creates all of that. So
it does.
I mean, Georgia's probably, I'll go out and say it. I say they're a 2-loss team next year, but I think they're back in the playoff. Say that. And I have seen that they're talking about expanding the playoff to 16 teams and allowing the number 1 team to pick where the semifinal bowl would be and the quarterfinal bowl would be. So they get to pick where they go if they advance.
Wow.
And your top 8 seeds get home field advantage.
Yeah, they should be.
And then the other 8 seeds get to travel. So that'll be interesting to see if they do that.
I'd like to see it go to 16.
But I also, before we move on from this one, I know we've hung on this one a little bit. Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner, I really like for him to just shut his mouth. He's doing more harm than good. I mean, people are slamming the ACC, making fun of him because, Georgia Bama's out. But the comment of saying they need to take the bye week and shorten it so we play sooner, he wasn't saying that when Georgia and Alabama and Auburn and LSU were playing New Year's Six bowls and going to the national championship. They've always played on the 31st and 1st of January to play in the national championship the following week. So nothing changed there. So that comment, he needs to shut his mouth on that one and just say,
He's
hey, we got beat.
All SEC schools lost.
The other thing, I'm going to say it. You always say it. I'm going to say it. Notre Dame joined a conference so you can't pocket $14 million.
Yeah, pocketing $14 million. Don't have to share it with anybody. I do not like that at all.
Yeah.
It's time. I mean, now that we got the playoff in, here, and these other teams are, sharing. So if Texas wins, they got to share their, profits with the
And that's
SEC.
what bothers me. They don't consider Notre Dame an at-large. See, technically, if you consider Notre Dame an at-large, Boise State wouldn't have made it.
Right.
Boise State, Notre Dame would have been the 3 seed, and Boise State would have maybe been a 12, maybe. But
I think that's got to be. I mean, guys, it's time. I mean, Notre Dame can easily join a conference. They got the money. I mean,
they're in the ACC and everything but football.
Just join the ACC.
And apparently,
and let's just be honest. The ACC this year, Notre Dame would have probably won the ACC.
Well, apparently they reached out to the Big Ten a couple years ago. I was talking to an Ohio State fan, and the Big Ten's like cut of what teams have to pay each year. Notre Dame said that's too much. They don't want to join it.
I don't care. I don't care. Like everybody else has to cut, has to pay for it, has to join these conferences. You need to join a conference because they make their schedule.
I think the only way,
you know what I'm saying? Like they can make cupcakes if they want to the whole way.
I mean, they could play the whole entire SEC if they wanted to. I mean, they could do what they want.
And I would love to play Notre Dame like once a year.
I just think they got special rules for them in this playoff. And I'm not. There's nothing slamming this Notre Dame team. I'm just saying
this Notre Dame team's good. They're good
in general. Right now, they're not in a conference. So how can you say they're not an at-large team? That's not fair. You got rules, right?
Yeah. And you got rules bent to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, the only penalization is they can't
anybody other than a Notre Dame fan would probably agree with you.
Yeah.
And heck, Notre Dame fan might even agree with you. Like, yeah, we do need to join a conference. I mean, it's time, guys.
They join conferences.
It's 2025.
There's independence in basketball.
Right.
But they don't do it because you can't make it into March Madness if you're not in a conference.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be for the college football playoff. If you're not in a conference, can't join the playoffs.
Preach it, baby.
Preach it, baby. Preach it. What are your thoughts, guys, on that? Should Notre Dame be in a conference? Let us know in the comments. If you're listening to this video, we sure do appreciate you being here. Next game up on the docket, we have Ole Miss versus Duke. This game happened Thursday as well. This was the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Duke, I think, forgot to come out here and play. This game was a beatdown. Get that sneeze out. Boom! There it is. Chapow!
Ooh, had to sneeze.
Man, you should try to say mayonnaise before you sneeze.
I don't like mayonnaise.
Oh, but if you say it, you won't sneeze. True fact.
I kind of like to sneeze, though. It feels good.
It does. Get it out.
You get your back out one good time when you get up in 30.
It sucks sometimes, though, when you sneeze, like you can't catch your breath. Kind of scares you a little bit. Yeah. Kind of go into another dimension.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, this Tax Slayer Bowl, Ole Miss, Duke, I mean, hats off to Ole Miss. I mean, hats off to Lane Kiffin.
I like what Lane Kiffin said.
Well, I'll let you speak on that, but hats off to them for getting that entire team to play, Jackson Dart to play in a game that really was even after the playoff game. So, I mean, like, who's watching this game? But, I mean, hats off.
I watched a little bit of it.
Hats off to them. And, I mean, Jackson Dart, great season by him. Great season by Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. Nothing to hang their head about. Way to kind of take a little bit of the sting away from the SEC a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice finally seeing another SEC team win. What is that, 4 wins now? 5?
4 or 5. I think it's 4.
Bad. ACC's only 2 this year. It's been pretty rough, guys, for ACC and SEC. I know we got a lot of ACC, SEC fans around this area, just because those schools are local to us, but it's been pretty rough, guys. Not going to lie. We're going to have to step up our game a little bit if we're going to compete with the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, Lane Kiffin said after the game that they had something to prove.
Yeah.
I like that statement because Duke was pretty good in the ACC. Now, granted, Malik, transferred, so he didn't play this game. They had, I can't remember the guy's name. It was something the fourth. This was the second start since 2023.
Oh, Burden or something like that.
Burden the fourth. Yeah, that was him. At one time, this game wasn't too bad. I think it was 21-7 at one point. So I was like, okay, maybe they can make it a game. But Ole Miss they just dominated.
Yeah.
I mean, Duke didn't have nothing. Duke looked, I'm not going to lie, they looked like a high school team versus a college team.
They were down a bunch of defensive starters, too. That defense was ranked in the top 15 this year nationally.
They were. But this is what I got to say to that. Anybody that says that you're down all these players, right? This has been my saying for everybody who's come at me over the game we're getting ready to talk about here in a second. Michigan was down, what, 40% of their roster probably? I mean, it was crazy. Like, everybody was out on Michigan. They still beat Bama.
16 starters.
16 starters were out of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Bama didn't have that many out. I mean, they had a short court. None?
None.
I didn't think so. I thought it was like maybe 1 or 2, but okay. 0, and Michigan beat Bama. So, guys, if you're watching these games, if you're watching Duke, I'm a little nervous because these are your second string, third string. This is what you have coming in the future.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see them be able to somewhat compete with the first string.
Right.
And you didn't even see it. I mean, 52-20, it was a beatdown. I turned it off because it was getting so bad. So yeah. I couldn't even watch it.
It was bad.
It was unenjoyable. It was just an absolute beatdown. I was cheering for Duke. I was hoping Duke would make it a little bit of a game. I like Duke, and I like seeing Duke do good in football. I think Duke will be fine next year. I really do. They're getting the Tulane quarterback, the highest paid quarterback in college football. He's getting $4 million per year for 2 years. Insane. $4 million. Go play football at Duke.
Yeah.
Duke's got some money. They're going to spend it.
Yep.
They're going to spend it. Them doctors down there in Duke.
Yeah, boy. Hats off to the doctors.
Hats off to the doctors. On Friday, we had a couple games here as well. First one here, we had the First Responders Bowl. This was all in Texas. Texas State versus North Texas.
Oh, Mean Green.
Texas State holds on to win that one 30-28. I didn't get to watch much of that one. Anything you wanted to comment on that one?
No, I mean, it was just.
I knew it was a close game. I tried to keep up with it a little bit what I could.
It was a competitive game. I mean, North Texas, they played good. They did everything they could in the fourth quarter. They scored 14 points in the fourth. They dominated the second half, but they were just down too much before half to come back in that game to cap off the victory and the comeback. But Texas State's a really good program. They got great coaches. They got a great running back. Both programs are pretty solid. They were both kind of down this year based off last year. I think last year both teams had 9 wins, but it was a good game.
Texas State. I think they played. Didn't they play Arizona State or somebody early in the season, like second game, and gave them a game?
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
They're pretty good.
They get a lot of those Texas players that people kind of overlook, and they just turn them into.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch Tulsa this coming year.
Tulsa's in Oklahoma.
I think TTSU going to be leading them. We'll see what he can do.
Trey Lamb's got a great coach.
Maybe.
Got a great coaching staff he's built up there. I would say there's a possibility. Granted, we can pump the brakes a little bit. Tulsa will be the best team in the state of Oklahoma.
Really? You think so?
Very possible. I mean, Oklahoma itself.
Well, the Sooners ain't doing much.
And I don't know what's going on at Oklahoma State. I know Gundy's coming back again, but I mean,
golly, what a letdown!
Good chance the Tulsa Hurricanes are your best team in the state of Oklahoma.
We should do. I know we did this previously a couple pods back. Biggest letdowns of 2024. I think Oklahoma State's like top 5, easy. Yeah. Ollie Gordon is he even going to be in the draft?
I ain't heard nothing about him.
Man, like he had like a Heisman season last year.
Yeah, he was a finalist.
And then this previous year, yeah. I mean, it was like, who's Ollie Gordon?
I mean, Oklahoma State was projected to win the big.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Like some of these players just drop off, and I think it too could be, maybe back to coordinators.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of coordination changes on the teams in our program, and that could change the whole thing. You lose offensive line, guys. The game's won in the trenches. If you have offensive line, defensive line, you can make something.
The thing I think I heard both of those players in particular you just mentioned. Ollie Gordon, we knew if you played Oklahoma State, you knew Ollie Gordon was getting the football, so they keyed in on him. And then on the other side of the ball, out with receivers, Missouri didn't have anybody other than Luther Burden. I mean, he was getting double teamed every time. So I mean, that's a lot of why his production was out. Ollie Gordon, he missed games with injury. Mm-hmm. The scheme was different with Alan Bowman. They were throwing the ball more. It was just a different Oklahoma State team.
Yeah, it took the ball out of his hands.
Yeah.
But not the same team this year.
With that being said, I do want to say this. There've been a lot of people out there to talk about. Genty proved that he was overrated and everything in the Penn State game.
I disagree.
I've seen a lot of that on Twitter and Facebook. People just slamming him. But
the dude need to go back and watch film.
He had 26 carries and 116 yards against Penn State.
Yeah, first player to get over 100 yards this season against Penn State.
Second.
Who's first?
USC had their running back.
Oh, I thought he was first. Dang.
No, but he did have 2 fumbles, ball security. But I mean, come on, guys, that dude. That's the thing.
He had what after contact? He still get like 4 or 5 yards.
I think he had 60 yards after contact in that game. That's the thing too. every player on the Penn State team knew that Genty was going to get the football. So they were keyed in on Genty. If I'm an NFL
they
scout,
stacked the box. Yeah.
They play 10 in the box the entire game.
Yeah.
And the dude still rushed for 116
They
yards.
said beat us with Madsen.
Yeah.
And Madsen balled out, man.
Yeah.
That dude's good. He got overlooked all season.
Mm-hmm.
But he proved himself there. He's a junior, right?
Yeah, he is.
So he'll be back next year probably.
But that's my big thing with Genty is like everybody knew he was going to get the football. And he still got 116 yards.
Yeah, Genty's good. Scatabo, excellent. Monster.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think this class of running backs coming out of here is stout.
It's deep. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you might see like the next Shaquan Barkley's in the league.
Next wave of big backs in the NFL.
Good backs, and I love watching a good back in the NFL. I mean, I haven't kept up with the NFL that much. I keep up with my Steelers. I know I try to keep up with the Broncos with you, but honestly, I haven't really kept up with it. But I will say that I kept up with Barkley this year. Just because I love watching a great running back. It's excellent to see.
Yeah.
The dude's hurdling people backwards. I mean,
and Derrick Henry's still running over people.
Yeah, all about diet people. You know how he puts like $1 million in the offseason.
Yes, he only
200. It's maybe 200 some thousand. I might have over-exaggerated, but still,
he eats like one true meal a day.
Yeah.
And he eats like in the morning. He has no dairy, no cheese.
Yeah.
He has no dairy, no cheese, no processed foods, nothing fried.
Yeah, it's like
his breakfast is weird. It's like a spinach leaf and some kind of egg or something. It's really weird. But he don't eat until like 1 o'clock.
Well, it's like LeBron. LeBron puts millions in his body.
I mean, look at LeBron. Look at LeBron.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get off topic here, but just talking about people's longevity in the league. Most of the time, we only see a good back 2 or 3 years.
I mean, let's look at. I got two backs here. We can just compare NFL.
Bring up what's his face from Georgia. He retired at 30.
Yeah, Todd Gurley. He was. But I look at this like Derrick Henry was written off going to the Ravens. Like the Titans thought he was done. They wread him off. He rushed for 1,675 yards this season. And then I look at somebody like Zeke Elliott at the same time was doing the same thing that Henry was doing with the Cowboys. And that dude is out of shape and can't even carry the ball for 3 yards without falling over. So, I mean, keeping his body up.
He fell off bad. Yeah, I was really let down with Zeke. He was a monster at Ohio State.
Yes, he was.
OHIO! Duke's Mayo Classic Bowl.
Oh, gosh.
This is a rough one. We got a lot of listeners. Hopefully y'all stayed for this one. Virginia Tech and Minnesota. Minnesota takes the win 24-10. Gophers.
Yes.
Gophers now 9 straight wins in bowl play.
Yes, sir.
Hokie fans, what is going on in Blacksburg?
I mean, one good news, Bud Foster's back.
Bud Foster was there.
He was there. I think he's going to take a defensive analyst role, kind of like Muschamp does at Georgia.
Probably missing the game a little bit.
I would say. I mean, Bud invested his life at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, excellent.
There's some. I would love to have Bud Foster on Tyler's Talking Sports because not that he would ever talk about it, but I've heard some stories about people that know him, and
I've heard they had to pick him up and drive him.
He's an animal. He's an animal.
I've heard those stories.
Let's just say that. But I think that's good, and I would like to see if I'm Virginia Tech, I would like to see them use him as a recruiting tool.
Yeah.
But absolutely. I really think Pry. Am I right?
Yeah.
Pry. I really don't.
Tech is this year. I can't remember the coach's name.
I don't think he's the guy. When they hired him, it was sketchy, but I could see why they hired him because he was at Purdue doing very well. I mean, Purdue was very successful with him. He's just not the guy there. Tech needs to get.
I thought he was at Pitt. Was he not at Pitt?
No, he was at Purdue.
For some reason, I was thinking it was Pitt.
But they're not recruiting their hotbed in Norfolk. They're not getting recruits
there. They're losing the state, yeah.
They're losing the state of Virginia. I mean, UVA's out recruiting them in the state of Virginia.
And let me say this, too. Mike Vick is now at Norfolk State.
Yeah.
So he's going to be stealing some more recruits.
And I was reading, too. I went down a rabbit hole yesterday with Tech, so I'm glad we brought this up. It was talking about Shane Beamer. And apparently there was a lot of rumors 2 years ago that Beamer was eyeing the Tech job. He wanted to go back, be there under his father or be there and coach at Tech like Frank did. And that was when South Carolina offered him that massive extension because apparently Tech was really itching on him. Yeah. And I think in a dream world, that's the coach you want at Tech. Bring back that Beamer mentality, Beamer ball. Because, I mean, Shane was there. Shane was in it. He can recruit very well. He knows how to recruit
the Hokies. He makes me really mad when he complains about everything. But, yeah.
Apparently that was a show.
Yeah, that's all he is.
No, it was him and Bielema. Like, it was They're
playing.
best friend. They were like best
Oh,
friends.
well, I know. They said they respect each other and everything, but yeah.
But what it was is Beamer had made a comment before the game about that in the Illinois game about how the substitution rules in the SEC are garbage and how you can just substitute. Like you can go up, get ready to line up, and then you can pull up, sub out real fast and then change the whole play. So that's why Bielema was going over there doing this because he's like, I'm going to sub while my player's down. Like I'm going to sub and But I mean, I liked it. I know a lot of people, there have been people like you that said like, oh, it was whatever. But I mean, if I'm on that sideline for South Carolina, I'm going out there ready to knock somebody's head off. My coach was ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. So I like it. I think that would be a great thing for Tech. But Tech
I just think it's funny coming from Shane Beamer. I don't know why. It's just something about like when I see him get mad on TV, I just start laughing.
You don't see that. You look at Shane. You don't see him as that guy.
No.
But he's
now. If I saw Kirby Smart, that's a different level. I look at Kirby and he gets mad. I'm like, oh.
Well, I will say this.
I respect that.
Kirby made a comment about Shane a couple months ago. It said that Shane's got more fire in him than him and Nick Saban combined. He said that he's like intensity. There was one place that
he's a little firecracker.
Apparently, Kirby and Saban and Shane coached somewhere together during something, and Saban and Kirby took a step back and was like, "Okay, this guy, he's got some fire behind him." But
no doubt about it. I don't know what it is. I'm just saying, like when I'm watching on TV, I don't know.
But to go back to Tech,
maybe it's because I just respect his dad so much, and I'm like, Shane, please stop.
To go back to Tech, though, I mean, they don't got a quarterback. I know they're going to say Pop Watson is the guy.
Pop Watson is not the guy, guys.
They're losing
a month to prepare for this game.
They're losing Tootin, and they've got him projected to go late first, early second round of the draft next year.
Running backs stout. God.
Defensively, they've lost. They've gained one. I think they got one player that was pretty good. A defensive back. I can't remember where he came from. A transfer portal.
Tech went 7-6 last year, right? 7-6, 6-7 this year.
Yeah.
So they regressed a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit softer schedule too.
Tech opens up against South Carolina. I think I'd go ahead and mark out on a South Carolina victory. I know Brian Long.
Another year. Golly.
I know Brian's going to listen to this and be going to come back with something. I know he's going to have me some kind of stat or some kind of player that I ain't talked about. But the state of Virginia Tech football right now is probably at an all-time low. I think it's worse than it was when they had Fuente. You just don't see nothing. You don't. Fuente killed him recruiting because he wanted out of the state of Virginia and started trying to recruit Florida and Texas, which is smart. I get it, but you got to recruit what you know and recruit what's there.
Yeah.
But I mean, Fuente never had a team this bad.
No, they're pretty bad. I watched that. I mean, they couldn't move the ball. No offense line. I mean, they was getting sacked left and right.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many sacks. It was a lot. Like back-to-back plays, there was like a 10-yard, 15-yard sack.
I think the Tech will be lucky to keep Pry, or not lucky. I think Pry will be lucky to be there after next year if he makes it through the season.
I don't think if Pry doesn't win one of those first couple key games there, if let's say they come to South Carolina 52-10, something like that, right? Go to the next game as I don't even know. Pull up their schedule real quick. Who they got after South Carolina? Sorry, I just know we got a lot of Tech listeners, and I just want to kind of go in on this because I projected Tech to go 9-3 this year. You projected Tech to go 12-0.
12-1.
12-1. 12-0.
Next year they got South Carolina in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium August 31st. Then they got Vandy at home, Old Dominion at home, Wofford at home, and then they got their ACC schedule. They got Miami at home, Cal at home, Louisville at home, Wake Forest at home. They got UVA in UVA, at Florida State, at Georgia Tech, and at North Carolina State.
A lot tougher schedule next year from the sounds of it right there, just based off the teams you just said. So, yeah, guys, I don't know if Pry's the guy. Let us know. Y'all diehard Tech fans, Joe, Brian, everybody that comments to me, talks to me anytime.
Hey, here's pretty cool.
If y'all listen.
Look at Tech's schedule. 2031, they start a home with Wisconsin. And then 2034, they start the season off with Alabama in Blacksburg. And then they go to South Carolina the following week. And then the next year, the next year they go in 2035, they go to Alabama week 1 and then South Carolina in Blacksburg 2035.
That's pretty cool.
And then they got Ole Miss coming up on the 2032 at home, and then they play Ole Miss on the road on 2037.
A lot of SEC?
Yes, a lot of SEC. I wonder.
It's hard to say if it'll be the SEC then. I mean, it might be
hypothetical little thing here, a little reach.
Might be like southeast region.
Could that at South Carolina game be a homecoming for Shane Beamer as the new head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies playing his old school?
Possibly. I mean, let us know, guys. Would y'all rather have Shane? Would y'all rather have Shane Beamer? And I know that answer probably just based off the success that they've seen in South Carolina.
Let's not reach at Shane. Who would they want?
Who would you want if you can't get Shane?
Realistically,
right now, who's out there that you would send money at? And that's the thing, guys. Tech has money.
Yeah,
bukus. Spend it. Spend the money. Get the coach. That program is. That program was terrible this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the game I went to at Clemson, they were sold out.
Yeah,
they sell out every game at home.
Yeah,
almost
everyone.
They leave in the second quarter if their team's getting killed, which I can't stand. Do not leave. Don't quit on your team.
Right.
Stay there for the entire game if you're a true fan. But that being said, your team's terrible and you're still making money. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So spend the money, get the right coach. I want some freaking good Tech football because they're close, they're local. Tickets are way cheaper than Tennessee, so I can go to Tech and watch a great game, half the price. So please be good. I want to go watch some good football.
I hope they're competitive next year because when we go to that Miami game next year, I'd like to see two good competitive schools.
They had a chance to beat Clemson when I was there, but they just couldn't. They were leading at half.
That's the thing all year with them, man. They've had a chance to
close a game. Can't close a game. He's like 1-12.
Yeah.
And try and close games. It's terrible. It's probably worse than that, honestly. But I don't know. Pry's got to figure out how to close games. He's got to figure out how to recruit in the state. And I think you see Tech turn it around. But again, I'm with you. I don't think Pry's the guy. I think they're going to have to search again. Sorry. Just going to have to go through this little carousel just like Tennessee and some of these other schools. It don't always pan out.
Right.
Heck, I can pull up Bama right now because everybody's already wanting his head because they went 9-4 his first year. But guys, it takes time. This will be Pry's fourth year?
Third.
One into third. Okay, third. You give him this year.
Just a real fast. I really think Saban left Alabama because this would have happened. I think if Saban would have been on the sideline, you would have seen the same thing at Alabama this year.
Absolutely, same players.
Yep.
A little bit more discipline. There was probably a little bit more discipline on Ron Williams. And just some of the stuff we've seen, like off camera and stuff like that wouldn't be going on. I guarantee it.
They may not have been a 4-loss school, but they probably would have been a 2-3.
They would have lost I wouldn't say Michigan because I do think Saban can get them in the playoffs. I think Saban could probably beat Tennessee. Some of these other schools that they struggled with. I think Saban would win.
They wouldn't have been a semifinal or national championship.
Correct. They would have lost where Georgia did. Or if there was first round, I think they'd lose first round.
Yeah.
I think Big Ten is better this year. It's just fact.
Yeah.
It's finally Big Ten's time. And I'm tired of people saying that, we'd finally got away from the SEC bias. Guys, the years that Georgia won, I promise you, I think they were the best team.
Let's go.
The years that Bama won, I promise you, I think they were the best team.
This is college football, man. Let's go back to when me and you were kids.
Yeah.
It was Pac-12 football, man. USC, Oregon, UCLA. Yeah. Ohio State's probably been the most consistent program in my lifetime.
Oh, without a doubt.
You go back to
the most money.
Texas was up there every year. You go back and look at the top 25. Georgia and Alabama weren't even in the top 25 when USC was winning national championships.
What goes around comes around.
The SEC had 2 schools.
Yeah.
Maybe. And they were in the bottom of the top 25. And it wasn't Georgia, it wasn't Alabama, it wasn't Tennessee. It was Mississippi State and Ole Miss or somebody. It was Florida. When Florida was winning national championships.
Look at Team Tebow's squad. You going to tell me that squad didn't deserve it?
And by the way, Skip Bayless, I don't know if you've seen it. He came out and said that the 2001 Miami team was not good because they had Ken Dorsey at quarterback, but they had 36 players go to the NFL.
Yeah, that's the best team probably ever established.
Yeah, without a doubt. You wouldn't have that nowadays because the NIL can't afford all that. But
yeah. It's going to change. NIL is going to change college football. It already is.
What else we got?
Saturday's game. Liberty versus Buffalo. Didn't watch this one. Absolute beatdown.
There was nobody there, man. This was in the Bahamas. In the Bahamas.
Big surprise. Buffalo dominates 26-7.
I will say this: Buffalo does have their running back is in the top 5 in the country in rushing yards. He's a stud.
Wow.
He's been offered a lot of NIL money. I don't know if he's a junior or senior, but I know last year coming in, there was a lot of teams trying to get him out of Buffalo, and he stayed. Liberty was down, the quarterback and star running back. So, that hurt them offensively. Defensively, I'm not sure. But there was nobody in this game. But, hey, Buffalo and Liberty got to spend a whole week and a half in the Bahamas
That's pretty cool.
That's a win.
That's a win itself. Yeah.
Yeah, they were literally playing on a high school field.
What Buffalo finish? Is that a 10-win season for Buffalo or 9?
That's
That's impressive, man. Buffalo Bulls, right? They're Bulls.
Yep.
Blue.
Khalil Mack. They finished 9-4, and Henderson had 21 carries for 119 yards and a touchdown. And their quarterback CJ Agabagna went 9 for 19 for 137 yards.
Good rush and pass attack.
Yeah, so
gotta love it.
Yeah, it was Buffalo. Liberty didn't score to the fourth quarter.
Sheesh. Okay, just a complete domination. We've seen that out of Liberty some this year, though.
Yeah,
don't play until the last quarter.
Yeah, they wasn't the Liberty of last year.
Not the Liberty of last year. No, definitely not. Definitely not. I do think maybe if they can get some type of quarterback, because they are losing Saltaire to Colorado, so I think that's a position they need to go after big time. Let's find a QB and start building around that again. So when they have a QB, I think they're very competitive.
They're running back declared for the draft. I mean, he's projected to go in the top 3 rounds. So
yeah, time to rebuild a little bit for Liberty. So maybe that'll help Tech out in recruiting.
Yeah,
maybe Liberty's been beating them. So on recruiting,
they got Tech's got Liberty coming up in their schedule. They got Liberty coming up in 2027. They play Liberty at Blacksburg, and then in 2028 they go to Liberty.
Yeah, Tech better get it together. Tired of this. Tired of this. Anything else on college football before we move into college basketball? We'll run through these scores real quick. Close this episode out.
I don't think so. I think we covered everything with college football. I don't think there's anything. I mean, you announced the transfer 4-star Jashad Rasad transferring out.
Oh, one other thing for Tennessee listeners: Mike Matthews is staying at Tennessee. That's the previous 5-star. He played in 10 games, had 2 touchdowns this past year. We'll see what he can do, guys. See what he can do.
Anything on Tim Banks?
Tim Banks, it's rumored that Miami is still reaching for him, but no clarification on if he is leaving or not.
I seen Clemson fired their D coordinator too Wednesday, and that Tim Banks, they've already reached out to Tim Banks to conduct an interview. So he might be.
Here's the thing: why would Tim Banks leave if Tennessee's going to throw? If it's more money, I get it. But he had a top 5 defense at Tennessee this past year.
Okay, what I do if I'm Tim Banks? You're not going to like this. I go to Clemson because Dabo's not coaching forever.
Set up for head coach.
Yeah, you got that right.
We'll see. I hope he stays, man. I really hope we don't lose.
But I got to give him hats off to that. I mean, well, rightfully so. He deserves these interviews. I mean, he's done great.
Yeah.
If he doesn't think he's ready for a head coaching job, I don't blame him for going to Miami or Clemson because you're looking at
ACC. Yeah,
you're looking at defenses that are equivalent to what you're bringing into Tennessee. I mean, as far as talent, players, what you can get. Yeah. And I'm not sure where Tim Banks is from. I know he was at Penn State when you all got him, so maybe it's more of a get back to closer to home type thing for him. But I think Tennessee will be okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, does it hurt a little bit? Yeah, but I think they'll be okay. Yeah, but be a huge hire for either one of those ACC schools.
Oh yeah.
If I'm him, I take Clemson.
I mean, yeah. Why wouldn't you? I mean,
you put him down there though in Miami with Mario Cristobal, and that defensive mind, those two, whoo, buddy, that defense in Miami gonna be nasty.
Could be.
Man, that's what he did.
It's Miami.
Maybe he sent Tyler Barron down there to recruit it out for him.
I mean, he did terrible.
But maybe that's what he did. Down there. Hey, go to Miami and let me know what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler who?
Was it Tyler Barron?
It is, yeah. I just said Tyler who because he didn't do nothing this year.
Let's see. I want to see if
he was a stud at Tennessee.
It was a different scheme. He went to a completely different scheme. Potential wild card option for Tennessee. Vols fans would love it if the Vols fans would love it if he does leave for Clemson. I also want to see who they've got potentially saying. Where are they at? Oh, they're saying Mayo, the head coach, the one that used to play for y'all, the head coach for the Patriots. Gerard Mayo.
Gerard, yeah.
Interesting wild card, Gerard Mayo. So, yeah, his job status is up. So, they're saying that if Tim Banks leaves, they may reach out to him.
That'd be good.
That'd be very lateral.
Yeah. Alumnist.
Yep. But, yeah, that's it for college football. Let's dive into the round ball, man. It was exciting yesterday.
It was. A lot of games happened on Saturday. I'm just going to go through this list, and you stop me where you want to talk about it. Number 4, Duke versus SMU. Duke 189-62. Cooper Flagg leads the Duke Blue Devils with 24 points. The dude can play ball. Boopy Miller finishes with 21 from SMU.
Yeah, SMU. I mean, they came into the ACC and like, hey, we belong to this. They're 11-3 on the year.
Right conference, man.
They did, and like I told you before, they talked about it yesterday. Right now, they're 6th in recruiting going into next year in the nation. So
they're good.
They're
nice
doing
campus.
Big things. Yeah.
A lot of money at SMU. Something about them Texas schools. Something about them Texas schools. Yeah, watch out for SMU. 11-3 right now, right?
Yeah, 11-3.
That lost where they were 11-2. And
that
game was closer than 89-62. I mean, it was pretty close there for a while.
Yeah, it was 41-32 at half, and then Duke. I mean, Duke dominated for the game, but there was a stretch there in the second half. It got a little close, but Duke pulled away in the end.
Yeah, Duke found a way to close. That's why Duke's still good, baby. Top 5 school. Talking about another top 5 school. Number 5, Alabama versus number 12, Oklahoma.
Boy,
I forgot this one was a ranked matchup because Alabama rolls 107-79 over top of the Sooners. The Sooners can't figure it out in basketball either.
That was
Mark
their first.
Sears, Mark Sears, the leading scorer for the Tide with 22.
Yeah, Sears had 22 points, 10 assists, had double-double, had 3 steals. Big thing here, Oklahoma came in this thing undefeated. They were 13-0 coming into this, ranked 12th in the country, and it just didn't show up. But Moore showed up for them. He had 20 points and 7 rebounds, but they had no guard play. They couldn't handle the transition game for Alabama. Alabama rolled in this game. They scored 59 points in the second half. They scored 48 first half. Alabama.
What'd they shoot from the field?
I'll let you know.
They's over 50% if they put up 59.
59. Alabama shot 50%.
50.
Yep. Oklahoma shot 47.8%. The big key here was the 9 for 29 from the 3-point line. They were 31%, but they also were 73% from the foul line. Yeah.
To the foul line. Got to get to the foul line. Yeah, Mark Sears is a stud. Yeah, he's very good. I dread playing him. Speaking of dread playing him, number 1, Tennessee dominates number 23, Arkansas Razorbacks. This game wasn't even close. 76-52. Talk about a defense. Defense is insane.
I mean, but if you know anything about basketball and you follow basketball any time in your life, you know Rick Barnes. If you're playing on Rick Barnes' team, his defense is the catalyst for the basketball program. And anywhere he's been, he did the same thing at Texas when he had Kevin Durant. Yep. I mean, he's a defensive person because he believes truly that defense transitions into good offense, and it's showing. Tennessee basketball right now is – I watched most of this game. I kind of got bored with it because I was flipping back and forth between this and the Georgia game.
18, 19 points.
I was watching Georgia a little bit yesterday, but Tennessee's defense is really good. Chaz Lanier, he was 10 for 20 from the field, 5 for 9 from 3-point line, 4 for 4 from the foul line. He had two rebounds. He had no assists. He did have 1 turnover and had 2 fouls, but he finished with 29 poins. Big thing here, Calipari at Arkansas, they did not do a shoot-around. He said it was
about Calipari. Really nice suit.
Oh, yeah, he's always dressed to the nines, but
nice.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. I've said this for years, and you can quote me on it because you know I've said it. Calipari is a great recruiter. Guy can't coach. And I think
he can coach, but
I just
can't keep his players.
I think really I look back at it like those Kentucky national championships he won, those teams that he recruited, those are loaded. Anthony Davis, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Willie Cauley-Stein. I mean, you go back to some of those teams that they had in Kentucky. Those teams would have won a national title if you would have put them on Southwest Virginia Community College.
Julius Randle went there, right?
Yeah, Julius Randle. I mean, DeAndre Fox. I mean, the list goes. Caldwell Pope. The list goes on and on. And no, Caldwell Pope was at Georgia.
Was it Georgia? Okay.
Yeah. But
Arkansas, Caldwell Pope, and then y'all have what's his face now for the Timberwolves. That's the best 2 players y'all probably had out of Georgia.
It's getting better. We'll talk probably a little bit more about Georgia as the season goes on.
They got killed.
Yeah, it was tied at half. We're up at half actually, but
dominated in the second half.
Azure Newell for Georgia. I know where you mentioned it, so I'm going to talk about it. He's 30. Azure Newell. He's averaging 20 points a game for us right now. He's a freshman. He's 6'11". He was one of our top recruits coming in. Blue Kane out of Knoxville, Tennessee. He's leading the SEC in 3-point shots and steals. Georgia's got a solid team. They're just super young. They're starting 4 freshmen. They got mostly sophomores on the bench and stuff. So Georgia's young. They'll be all right.
Only a 2-loss team, right?
Yeah, only a 2-loss team. And the Ole Miss game, it got away from them with about 4 minutes to go in the second half. Ole Miss warmed down a little bit. It was at Ole Miss. They do have Kentucky coming to town on Tuesday.
Ooh.
So we'll see what happens there. That'll be interesting. I will say that could be a close game because, I mean, it is at Georgia. That place is going to be loud. But we'll see what Kentucky does. And, hey, we mentioned them. Let's move into it. We got Kentucky versus Florida. And, honestly, this is probably the best game of the day. Kentucky, Florida. The only time they're playing each other this year. So all you Kentucky, Florida fans out there, this is it. You don't get to see each other again unless you play each other in the SEC conference tournament or the NCAA tournament. It's the first time, I believe they said, in 86 years that they're only playing each other once. This game was an absolute barn burner. It was 52-42 at half. Florida outscored them in the second half, 58-54, but Kentucky just ended up winning 106-100. Kentucky was solid. They had 6 people in double figures. But Clayton Jr. for Florida had 33 points. Florida's not too bad, and that was another team. They were undefeated coming in, and now they've got a loss. So Tennessee is actually the only team that's left unbeaten in the country. So it's going to be interesting. Tennessee,
SEC's tough.
They got somebody coming to town big here this week.
Yeah, they got a lot. They got like every game this month of January.
You got Florida coming to town Tuesday. So when we're playing Kentucky, you're playing Florida.
Yeah,
or at tough. Florida. You're at Florida. Sorry.
Tough schedule.
I do say Ole Miss does have the second toughest schedule remaining in college basketball. They play 21 out of 23 opponents are ranked that they play the rest of the season. So Ole Miss is in for a.
Well, that's good though. I mean, if they can hang with those, if they win some of those or whatever, and they make it the tournament, so they have a lot of experience.
I will say there's a lot of people question it, maybe not within the hardcore running blue Wildcat Nation when they hired Pope as their head coach. I like him. I was watching him. I like him a lot. He's perfect coach for them, and he's really doing well organizing that bench to start the rotations.
Yep.
Kentucky's going to be a force.
Good-looking offense team. Waylon Clayton finished with 33 from Florida, and then Lamont Butler led Kentucky at 19, 8 assists, and 3 steals.
Yes, sir.
Pretty solid. I'll run through these other ones here real quick. Number 14, Houston beats BYU 86-55.
Yep.
Had another upset here. Number 15, UCLA versus Nebraska. Nebraska upsets UCLA 66-58.
Yes.
Number 16, Cincy. Also another upset. Goes down to Arizona 72-67. Kind of surprising on that one.
That puts
very good team here. Number 2, Auburn dominates Missouri 84-68. I like Auburn a lot. I like what Bruce Pearl has done. Excellent coach. Loved him at Tennessee. Hated to see him go with all that drama.
Their one loss was to Clemson, right?
Yes. I think that's right.
How was that Clemson?
It was close, though. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was. It was very close. I think it was one or 2 point game.
They're a good team. They're very good. They got a very good big man. Texas versus number 13, Texas A&M. A&M dominates the second half. Goes on to win this one 80-62. They were tied 32-32 at half. So A&M can roll in football, and they can roll in basketball.
Yeah, Buzz Williams done well. That's another one. Tech had him as their head coach.
Can't hang on to him. I've talked about that with a lot of Tech fans, and it goes back to your athletic director, too. I don't know who they got as AD, but
I did know his name.
Even the women's coach.
Yeah, he left.
He left and went to Kentucky.
Yep, and took players with him.
Yeah, over I think it was like $200,000 or $300,000 difference.
Yeah.
Like if I'm Tech, I'm gonna be like, I'll give you $400. Stay here, please.
Yeah.
He got you to the Final Four.
Yeah, should have been a national championship team if that player for them don't get hurt.
They would have needed to keep him.
What was that? I can't remember what that girl's name was.
I mean, selling tickets.
Yeah. I mean, Tech should have won the national championship.
That was the Caitlin Clark year. That was when she was in Iowa.
Yeah, and that girl, I can't remember her name. I can't remember, but that girl from Tech that broke her leg. She plays. Tech's probably in the national championship game.
Absolutely. Is what it is. That's all I had on basketball.
I got one more.
Okay.
Number 3, Iowa State, which is probably my favorite team in college basketball right now. Number 3, Iowa State. They beat Baylor 74-55. Iowa State improves to 12-1 on the season. Baylor falls to 9-4. Baylor's ranked 25th. Baylor's top scorer, I'm going to butcher this name, guys, so please don't hold it against me. Ojowana had 13 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals. But Kareem Gilbert for Iowa State had 16 points, 10 rebounds, was a double-double. Iowa State's solid, and I really, if you look back at it, Iowa State's always been that team that's kind of sneaks in, always has a good little program, and this year they're playing probably, in my opinion, the only edge that Tennessee has on them right now is probably offensive. I think Tennessee's got a little bit better scores across on guard play, but as far as defense, those teams are pretty even, and I think that will be a great matchup in the NCAA tournament. I think both right now, that will be the two teams I would put in the Final Four if I had to pick two right now. It'd be Tennessee and Iowa State.
I hope Tennessee can finally somehow manage to make it to the Final Four. That'd be nice.
Absolutely, man.
Like to see him finally do it.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? Anything else we want to add to our listeners? Guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in here to Tyler's Talking Sports.
Yeah. I mean, I don't got anything else. This is going to be the kind of how the episodes are going to go from here on out. We'll actually start sprinkling in some baseball here in the next couple of weeks. It'll transition more out of football, more basketball oriented toward baseball, and then it'll be a lot of baseball. So,
Yeah.
But guys, we hope you enjoyed the episode. We appreciate it. You guys stay safe out there if you get infected by this winter storm that's coming across the country.
Stay safe, stay warm.
And be sure to check us out on YouTube and Facebook this week, as we will be dropping 10-minute episode shorts on a certain topic. So be sure to check those out. Watch those. They will not be on Spotify or anything. They're just short episodes. They'll be on YouTube and Facebook. So we appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for listening. Be safe. Y'all have a great Monday.
Peace.
I love that.